Guys, I'm back with another book haul, unexpected book haul. Remember in the last video I had told you that there would be no more tent sales? I don't know if the owner fibbed, if she changed her mind, if it was an on the whim thing that she decided, the weather's nice, let's have another tent sale. So she had another tent sale, fill a bag for $2. So I have 2 bags from that, and then the sale was supposed to be for 2 weeks. She cut it short and decided to compensate for cutting it short to do an in-store sale of 50% off. I suspect what happened in a nutshell is last week she had an 18-wheeler with 51 pallets of books backed up in the back of her bookstore. And I suspect that those books are in the tent. And she's trying to do some shuffling of the inside stock and maybe move some in or do another sale. I don't know what the plan is. All I know is I made out like a fat rat. So I spent $4, got 2 bags of books at the tent sale, and then in the store I spent $16, but I bought 2 puzzles, one for me and one for a friend, so roughly $14 for all these. It's a good deal. I will do the ones I bought in the store first. But I have Summer Island by Kristen Hanna, just beachy. I think I've only read 1 or 2 of her books. It's escaping me. The one I read of hers, it was the one that made all the rounds on YouTube that was super popular a couple of years ago. It's not Distant Hours. The one that takes place in Alaska. I feel like if you know Kristen Hanna, you know what I'm talking about. This one's just basically a cliched broken marriage and returning to an island, returning home to lick wounds. And then we have The Readers of Broken Wheel Recommend by Katarina Bivald. I've had this one on my list forever and ever and finally picked up a copy of it. I'm pretty sure you can get it from like Overdrive from the library, but I found a copy and was tickled about that. It was only $2.50. The Kristen Hanna one was $1. But this one is 2 best friends who I think they're pen pals, and they go to meet, or they're planning to meet for the first time, and one of them passes away. So kind of sad, but I've heard mixed reviews on this one. We'll see how it is. We have A Summer Affair by Ellen Hilderbrand. I'd probably say a half dozen of her books, and I've enjoyed them. I did the Christmas series. I don't know that there's necessarily any particular name for it. It's 4 books set around a bed and breakfast, family bed and breakfast. I enjoyed them. They were okay. They were like not anything over the top wonderful, but they were seasonally appropriate, even though I read them like in February or March. We'll say it's still seasonally appropriate because it was still winter. I was going to actually buy them for my sister, but they didn't have all of them, so I picked this one up, and honestly don't know too much about it other than most of her books are set on Nantucket and have some sort of brokenish relationship thing going on, so it's not normally my favorite, but her books are always well written, and no matter what they're about, I enjoy them. And then we have How Mrs. Claus Saved Christmas by Jeff Gwynne. Don't know much about it other than, holiday, seasonally appropriate. It was a beautiful book. It was $1.75. And cute little French flaps and deckled edges. So this one will go in my possible TBR for December. I don't really have much in the way of plans for December. I normally always reread A Christmas Story, so I have to go digging for it. It's just the tiniest little crumb cake of a book. If you like the movie, you'd like the book. And there is my tree. If you want something Christmas, I put a tree in my office, so that's Christmas themed and appropriate. And we actually have some snow outside still. It snowed Monday night in Tennessee. So November the 30th to December the 1st, which is not normal. I say not normal. We got some in November, early November and early December last year. So we're just getting a head start because our normal snow is in January. So I feel like by this token will be tropical at Christmas time. Who knows? If you're in Tennessee, you know what I mean. Then we have Brain on Fire, My Month of Madness by Susanna Callahan. I feel like, again, this one has made the rounds. Everybody knows about it. She has a newer one. Or is this? This is not the newer one. No, it is not. What is her newer one? I can't think of it. But the newer one has made the rounds as well this year on YouTube. I don't know many reviews on this one, but the other one is people seem to enjoy it. And then the last one from the 50% off was Louisa Elliott by Anne Victoria Roberts. My mother had a friend who was an avid reader, and she was the one that went to the bookstore, to like Walmart. I mean, this was in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, and she got pretty much any and all romance. Contemporary, historical, you name it. She read it. That was her thing. I mean, she was a full-time teacher, but she gobbled up books. So when my mom would visit her, she'd give her these paper bags, like, old school paper grocery bags full of books, and she would bring them home. That was like probably a little bit of a foothold into like my obsession with books, but I do remember that well. And my mother always talked about reading a book that Myrna had given to her and never remembered it. She was like, it was Louisa. It was Louisa. It was Louisa. She just always said that. And she didn't have the book anymore. She just always remembered it. Well, I had found a copy for her. I think I gave it to her. And then they so happened to have another one. So this book she could never remember or find, I have a second copy. So I don't know that she'll reread it, but it is a Victorian, I do believe. Yes. It takes place in York, England. So if you are into Victorian, this might be it. It's written in a very old-fashioned Victorian way, even though I think it was published in the 80s. 1989, 1990, so yeah. And then the last ones I'll try to go through quickly because they're not really going to be a couple you will be aware of, but most of them are very obscure, which is probably why I was tickled to get them. But we have the Penguin Book of Women's Humor, various writers. Let's see if it tells us. Jane Austen, Dorothy Parker, Muriel Spark, Mae West, Irma Bombeck, Roseanne. Ugh, let's not go there. That's unfortunate. So, yeah. And I ended up have a couple that aren't in here because they're already packed away. So I ended up getting these for like 13 cents a piece. Come on. Who could pass up that deal? We have Cold Mountain by Charles Fraser. I know I had a copy of this and most likely got rid of it in my move. I've not read it. I love the movie. I've seen the movie so many times. So maybe next year I'll put it on my project. I need to do a project backlist for 2021 to read backless books and books that I have in my house. Very few exceptions because I've got to get through these books. I mean, clearly. And then Until I Find You by John Irving. I still have yet to read John Irving, and I know at least 3 of his books, maybe 4. So it's kind of a beast. I think I looked at it, 820 pages. So it's not going to be a short one-day read, but it will be interesting. And if you've read any of these, let me know. This one I actually started. It's just a joke. I think if you're of my age or even, even older, you will have seen Irma Bombeck everywhere. I feel like she was the quintessential, like, mid to late 90s. Her books were in any used bookstore you stepped into. Like, everybody had them. And more so nowadays, you don't see them as often, but it was one of those, I feel like Twilight or Harry Potter. Like, it was just a plethora, overrun of Irma Bombeck. But never read her. I was just like, I can't relate. Probably still can't. Well, partially can relate. But we have A Marriage Made in Heaven, or Too Tired for an Affair. So it's just basically her talking about her beginning of her marriage in the early 50s, which most definitely is different from marriages nowadays, but can be relatable in how men act. So I'm not very far along in it. It's pretty gross, but again, for 13 cents, I don't care, because I'll read it and put it in a little free library. Then we have Buffalo Girls by Larry McMurtry. I have only read Lonesome Dove, so I need to get on the stick because I have bunches of his books. And then we have Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice. I technically have never read Anne Rice. I started, was it Taltos? I don't even know if I'm saying that right, in high school, and just didn't jive with it. Probably my mental capacity at the time, I don't know. But, and I've never seen the movie. I mean, that's the fun thing. Like, you don't have to, absolutely have to read the most popular book of the moment to enjoy it. You may find it 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 years down the road and enjoy it. That's what I like about books. Then we have Bushido by Beresford Osborne. Doesn't that sound stuffy? I feel like he was cashing in on the Shogun fad. I know this is from the 70s. I mean, I can tell. 79. So, Richard Langford sent from Britain to investigate the troubles plaguing the world's largest oil tanker. Atrocities committed in the jungles of Burma in 1948. Retribution. Those are the buzzwords. So then we have Golden Lotus, Janet Louise Roberts. Again, we all know about my Asian fiction. Apparently she was a half Japanese, half American, 18-year-old, which is kind of sketch to me. Like, honestly, different times. I know, different times. I mean, the fact that this was stamped $1.25 on December the 7th of 1979. But apparently it's, this 18-year-old finding her soulmate. It may be the best book of all time. Then we have All Creatures Great and Small by James Herriot. I know Zoe Wall, if you watch Matt Wall when he does his book hauls with Zoe, which I love Zoe. I miss their book hauls. I know they have things going on and it's a crazy year, but I remember her just saying that she loves this book. And of course I had to snatch it up because I found this gorgeous vintage copy. Again, 70s. 77. So, and I read the first couple pages of it and I was like, wanted to dive in. But I'm pacing myself. Then we have The Homecoming by Russell O'Neill. This one has the sprayed edges. It's at one time blue. It looks like a very sickly Oscar the Grouch green. But this one is one of those, Mommy and Daddy sent him away, but they couldn't keep him away. Now his time has come. Cheesy 70, like cashing in on the Stephen King bandwagon, so that one will be fun. Jane is a hoe. I should not say that in the year our Lord 2020 woke. But Jane slept around with 3 different men, and now she doesn't know who the father is. This is not the most generic plain wrap cover. Red sprayed edges, so you know. Red light special. And this takes place in London. So it was, she had 3 carefully scheduled lovers, and then she ends up pregnant. But who'll be the daddy? I have to find out. Okay, then we have Butte's Landing by Jean Rykoff. I hit the 70s jackpot, my friends. 1974. So this one was a family trying to find the perfect place to homestead, and it takes place in upstate New York, which this doesn't exactly scream upstate New York. But again, the Hephaestus, I had to have my husband pronounce this. The Hephaestus Plague by Thomas Page. I feel like I have another Thomas Page that I have found at a tent sale. Carbon-eating insects that are mysteriously... Let me read this to you, and I'll try to be brief. Large, blind, carbon-eating insects, each one capable of emitting a tiny flame, each one mysteriously incapable of reproducing. Their swarm is relentless and unstoppable, leaving a wake of death and charred ruin. Scientists struggle to destroy them before they destroy the Earth. All but one man. He has discovered the creature's remarkable intelligence and a way to breed them. I love the weird. Okay, I gotta go through these quickly because I'm at 16 minutes. Firefox, Craig Thomas. It's about the Soviet MiG-31 lethal weapon system, deadliest warplane. And we got this one. We got The Symbol, the blistering big novel by Alva Bessie. Look at this. And if you could guess, if we want to do like some guesses or contests as to what you think her name is, you're wrong. You're wrong. Her name is Wanda. That's my mom's name. Wanda is the star of a scorching novel of Hollywood, No Holds Barred. Sprayed edges. We got Rake Hell Dynasty by Michael William Scott, who is the second name, pen name, what do you want to say for the John Jakes, who wrote the Camp Chronicles, which I've read the first couple, and he also wrote Heaven and Hell, the Confederate trilogy. So there's that. The Good Earth by Pearl S. Buck. I have tried to read this once, and I don't think I was in the right headspace, so I stopped. So now I have a copy when I do want to try it again. We have Kiwana Stock by Edgar It's been a long time since I've taken German. Edgar Mittelhölzer. It's got the umlaut. If you're German, just forgive me. It takes place quickly, Lindsay, quickly. March 1763. I'm not sure. The Master of Ballantrae, Robert Louis Stevenson. Never read Robert Louis Stevenson. The Deerslayer by James Fenimore Cooper. The Last of the Mohicans, James Fenimore Cooper. Solar Heat by Susan Kearney. This one was purely hysterically thrown in the bag. And I feel like I will read it. I mean, why buy books if you're not going to read them? And The Ladies of the Club. Yes, another copy. I think this makes 4 copies that I have, and I still have not read it. Scribd has it if you're interested and don't want to break your wrist. But it's a glowing romance. There better be a lot of romance. I feel like it's going to be a lot of the veranda had a cool breeze as they sipped on their mint juleps. The Private Elvis and If I Can Dream. I have a friend who likes Elvis books, so these are going to her. 2 more, and I promise I'm done. Earthquake, The Story of a Movie by George Fox. Never seen it. My husband saw it and said it's as terrible as it looks. And then Tidings of Great Joy by Sandra Brown. So this one may be read this month. I have enjoyed Sandra Brown when I've read her in the past. It's been forever. But that's all. That's all. No more book hauls, perhaps. Unless she's probably got some sale. The 50% off sale ends on Friday. I will not go back. I can assure you I will not go back. Scout's honor. If I go back and you leave a comment on this, then I owe you like, I don't know, a bookmark. But yeah, I am currently reading, one that was supposed to be in this haul and is in this closet, because if I weren't embarrassed, I'd show you the top shelf of this closet. In the top corner, I stash all the books that go to my friend whenever I see her next, and it's ungodly, unruly. So I put up there, if I can pull it up quickly, Walter Lord. It's a Titanic book that's came out a long time ago. I'm trying to see if I can get Goodreads to come up. Which, if you are on Goodreads and want to follow me on Goodreads, I'll leave that in the box. Oh, and by the way, I have, no joke, this year completed thus far 315 books. How on this majestic earth that has happened, I do not know. Because I feel like I have not read that much. A Night to Remember by Walter Lord, which I know everybody had the oversaturation in the late 90s, early 2000s with Titanic. That died down. Again, for 13 cents, I read it. Was worth every 13 pennies that I purchased it for. Would recommend if you want something short. It's like 200 pages. It's on Kindle Unlimited if you want it. And I am now reading, Kindle Unlimited has it as well. It's the second book, The Night Lives On, The Untold Stories. It's about the same length, about 200 pages. Quick, easy. I'm reading that. I'm reading the Irma Bombeck. And yes, I'm reading The Essential Calvin and Hobbes. And another comic book, Tundra by Chad Carpenter. My brain space over the weekend was to read as many comic books as I could. That probably falsely fluffed my total. So yeah, those are the 4 that I'm currently consuming. I could easily finish Tundra and Calvin and Hobbes tonight. Like, no issue. The other 2 by Friday. So I don't have any, my total for the year was hit 75. We know I am 400+% at capacity. So I don't know how many more I will read before the end of the year. Getting at an even amount would be perfect. So like maybe 330. 350 is not going to happen. Sorry. It's just not. Unless I found a whole bunch of 2-hour audiobooks that I read on double speed, listened on double speed, but no. But if you've read any of these, including the rare, obscure, weird 1970s books, let me know. Let me know if you have any suggestions on Larry McMurtry other than Lonesome Dove, because we're not in No Nuance November anymore for me to say it was not the best book I've ever read. If he has any others that are better, I have Terms of Endearment. So yeah, let me know what you are reading. don't know why YouTube has not been giving me comments. I just caught up on comments from like 6 months ago. So if you've left me a comment, I love you. And I'm sorry that it took so long. I figured nobody was watching my videos. Nobody was commenting. And then I go and find them and I'm like, oh no, what have I done? So I have responded to everyone. Don't think that I'm horrible and I don't respond, because I am most often prompt and will get back to you as soon as I see that comment hit. So I need to go and look in my like maybe spam in my email and see if it's filtering out. That way I can respond to you ASAP. But oh my gosh, this video is absolutely atrociously long. And if anybody has watched every stinking second of it, you deserve a Christmas present. You really do. But I hope that you are getting by. You're enjoying as much as you can still being home. I know everybody's tired of it, but being home, if you're doing anything, watching Christmas movies, making Christmas cookies already, Christmas puzzles. I have a Christmas puzzle I need to do. I plan on trying before Friday to make a couple batches of fudge, maybe some gingerbread cookies. This time of the year, I go all out. Cookies, fudge, peanut butter balls, Chex Mix, sausage balls, fruitcake. I dare not call it a fruitcake. It is a Franklin pecan cake that does not have nasty citron in it. It has pound of butter, pound of sugar, pound of flour, pound of nuts, pound of candy fruit. It is a hefty doorstopper of a cake, but you will never taste anything more delicious. So whatever you think about fruitcake is wrong. Well, it is correct. Those are garbage fruitcakes, but mine is delicious. So yes, I am going to make as much as I can to have a third chin and enjoy it. But enough rambling. I hope you have a good rest of your week. Good whatever you're doing. And I will talk to you later. Bye.